promised commitment that you are going to do to the north of the country, and you have cited a lot of examples also when you are doing your campaign about the issue. But the economic aspect of it, I found it very difficult to comprehend and understand what really happened to the country. For example, we have different programs done by the previous government, and also this government has declared a state of emergency on food production. And my worry is just that before that we don't have fertilizer blending companies. They are just like 3 or 5, and they have like 50. But the cost of food in the market is still high. So I want to relate what is the input government putting into the system, and also food is getting more expensive. Let me give you another example. We have more what they call them rice millers now, in almost 100 of them, which one of the rice mill houses said you have a lot of people that help him to develop, and then the previous government of APC put a lot of money into it. So my worry is that rice is very expensive. It's not affordable to the young. It costs almost for 3,000 naira per. Fertilizer is costing about 30,000 naira per bag, and the insecurity in the northern part of the country, as you can see, is around other places. You have to pay tax for to do their to go to their farm. And another thing that is scaring us is that the mud in this villages bring out this produce to the city is by transport, and this subsidy issue is affecting the rice issue. So with all this, the word that Saddam don't want us to put, the renew whatever that we used to call it, which everybody is feeling today. So my question is directly to you, sir. Help us understand the economy. If it happens that you become the president the next 2 or 3 months, what will you do different so that at least this rising cost of food will at least go down for Nigerians to benefit from being a Nigerian that have a very wide and very big fertile land for us to do? How do we get this food? Because food is the main security that we can have, because we need education every day. We need to get food.
Well, thank you, Ibrahim. Ibrahim, I've said a lot about the issue of agriculture and the issue of implementation of various policies, projects, various schemes of the past. What you're experiencing is poor implementation of those schemes. They were not properly executed. They were not properly channeled where they should go. They've all become transactional schemes, transactional policies that went into the same tunnel of corruption. So in the end, they actually, instead of helping to ameliorate the situation, worsened it. The North, I've said, is going through a major problem today that is bordered on poverty, mass poverty. And if you want to solve that problem, you have to pull people out of poverty. And agriculture is not one item to solve that problem. There are vast uncultivated land that we need to cultivate. Nigeria can make more money from agriculture, can earn more from export billions of dollars from agriculture that the president earns from oil. And I'll give you several examples, which I don't need to go back into. Because you see me, Prime, you followed me everywhere where I say that Niger State alone is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. And if Netherlands can do export of agricultural products in 1 year of over $120 billion, which is about 6 times what Nigeria earns from oil, Nigeria, we can earn more from it. And we will be able to do today in buying small, the same holidays and college anything, they are now doing quite a number of agricultural products. We have massive cultivated land in Borno, 70,000 square kilometers, which again is about 2, exactly, but about 2.5 times the size of that. So we have opportunities right there. And to put people out of poverty, to invest in this land, but you have to do it through the right channel. You have to do it properly. It has to be true, verifiable, and means people can see. Governance is very simple. People say you about having more rice mills, having more this and everything. For example, Ibrahim, I will show you how Anchor Borrowers program has been implemented in other countries. I show you how growers have been implemented in other countries. Who did we give money for the art growers? How did we channel the funding for it? The rice millers are they the ones we are funding in order to fund properly those who are going to supply them inputs. So if it's a rice mill, are we supporting the big miller to be able to support those who are going to support paddy, be able to give us rice? What are we dealing with? And what are we trying to achieve? I said in economic program, you must think it through. We can change all that and do it properly. What is suspected implemented, it is not something to go far to find whether it's the fertilizer or anything. All these are not coming that blind because it's based on transaction. Otherwise, it will be cheaper, it will be competitive because labor is cheaper. First is that how we do it. Ibrahim, we have a bank, the Bank of Agriculture, domiciled in Kaduna. And this is being implemented to the Bank of Agriculture. Who are the beneficiaries of this loan? And the farmers and the politicians. These are questions. Who are those who are involved? I've seen this. I've seen people, even in my own state, when we came in, there was a standing agricultural loan. When we tried to recover it, none of the loans went to farmers. The funds ended up in hands of politicians who have nothing to do with farm. And that is the problem. So the implementation must be proper. It must go direct to those who need it, and they must be followed up to ensure we're getting value for that. If we do it, the prices will come up. We'll use it to put people out of poverty will do more. Brian, we've been to, and I'm sure you can see there, go to prisons and see those who are involved with kidnap and killings. They will tell you how much they paid for an operation. They start 40, 50,000, which means they have something they are doing that can give them every month. That's it. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce the criminality. This needs to be properly implemented. This must be preached. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I think it's only justice I pass the mic right now to a lady, Miss Barriat, and our first female question of the day. Miss Barriat, if you can hear me, you have the space. Good evening.
Mr. Jam, can you hear me?
Loud.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please.
Perfect. Continue.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ms. Barriat, can hear you.
So, good evening, Your
Okay,
Excellency.
sir. I need to look up.
As I always refer to you as my president. So, as I am here, I am speaking to my president, and I believe every other person listening knows that we are listening to our president speak to us, the man we know we voted for on the 25th of February. Here is my question, sir, just to follow up on what Ibrahim Abdul Karim has already asked you. I am a trader, just as you all introduced yourself. I am in the agricultural sector. I trade in fruits and veggies. And one of the biggest complaints that a lot of us right now, always talk about has to do with logistics and multiple taxes that they face from the farms to the market. So my question to you, Your Excellency, my president, our president, how would you handle the issues relating to the logistics involved in transporting food from farms to around the infrastructures and the multiple taxation that these drivers and farmers face from to the market? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, my sister, for that question. I know you mentioned it. First, let me start by answering it. Since that times I just get, how did we arrive here? If the Air Masters was able to do a raid in the 60s to make sure that they transport the food from North Kanu, everywhere in the north to the south and west ports. What has changed today? It's the 60s. I went to Southern Kaduna and I saw rail in Kafanchan. Somebody said to me from Kafanchan, they used to load agricultural products that go to Lagos. If that happened in the 60s, why can't we do it today? On the issue of multiple taxation, all those, again, is corruption and transaction, which when you are determined to eliminate it, will be able. Where are the questions which government can support and be able to give you free? And all this is what you can do by the time you have proper support that are channeled in the right direction. A Bank of Agriculture is in the north supporting all this. Where there's stringent rules that nobody can play with. So you get it solved. And then because you're interfacing with these farmers like you, because like I said, it's a learning process too. Because the government is determined to do it, then we'll listen to the farmers. Yes, there's issues of insecurity. Ibrahim mentioned the farmers can go to farm. Yes, that is number one job of government, to secure the people. So if you're determined to do all this, we spend enough money in security. I do not see how non-governmental actors will be more active, more daring than government. It's because what we spend in dealing with insecurity are also somehow, you mentioned this transactional life, you just criminalize the place. So this is time to do things now differently, involving all levels of government, from the community level, to local government level, to state level, to national level, with clear mandates, clear implementation plan, that at any time there's a problem, all those involved will deal with it. If you do that, you see it differently. When we lend money to farmers, it will shock you. Genuine farmers in Anambra State, we were able, apart from flooding, which occurred a particular year, to recover about 70%. Flooding came and worsened it. When we lend proper farmers, we will to see increased production. And we visited them. So it's not just me sitting down in Oka saying, we're giving money to farmers who came to Oka. No, we went to their local government, went to their villages, we went to see everything. So when they had flooding, we were able to intervene to even save those who had loans from other areas, because we could see what they're doing. And again, to build the proper infrastructure that gives them access to the markets. And all these are doable if we're determined to do the right thing.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Ibrahim, you say you want to have a question on agriculture real quick?
Another follow-up question is just for me to testify to what Apple Head is saying. For example, in Kaduna and also Sokoto, I've seen this roads. They call them the agriculture. It's a fund for in the agriculture department in the Ministry of Agri to develop roads. But in my area, for example, in Sokoto, as in locals, I have seen a project given to one of the directors stayed around that place, and they built the road. As I talked to you today, anyone that is in Kaduna, if you know the house of the immediate former agri minister, if you go there, you will see the road being done with that fund. So I think what Mr. Pio is saying is really true. Most of these funds end up in the pocket of politicians because they are not doing the right thing. So money and system and document has been designed to make sure that this food has become a little bit cheaper. But because this food, when this money end up in the pocket of people, this is just the intervention I just want to give. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Thank you. I think Otumba is meant to go start with your questions. I don't know if you're ready.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Thank you, Your Excellency, sir. My question is still on the economy. Given the economic downturn, we're seeing multinational companies report massive losses. From Cadbury, I think they had 20 billion in losses. MTN, 131 billion in losses. The NGX, 231. Nigerian Breweries, 71 billion. Guinness Nigeria, 18 billion. Airtel, I think they reported about $104 million in losses. And a lot of this is attributed to the flotation of the naira. We've seen the dollar. We see the naira weakening against the dollar. We see naira weakening against the British pounds. If you enter the economy, which hopefully you will be soon, what economic policies would you help implement around the flotation of naira, and also to reduce, this losses? Because as just an ordinary person seeing these losses, to me, translates to budget cuts for those companies, which translates to either layoffs, massive layoffs, or reduction in employment opportunities for Nigerians that work in those companies. So, what will you do around the flotation of naira? Thank you.
Let me tell you, if you look at my tweets about the issue of naira exchange, I mentioned it in that tweet. I mentioned about 19th of September last year. First is that what you have is affecting your naira value is the value of your reserve. And what drives your reserve is export earning. And what drives your export earning is production. Because your sources of revenue, as far as foreign exchange is concerned, is oil, which most of it is stolen. Your agriculture, they're exporting enough. Your factories are not producing enough export. You have difficulty in dealing with the issue of earning dollars that would have increased the reserve and help to stabilize and reduce the rate of exchange. What we have recently is every country in the world, I can tell you, manages the rates of its exchange. Yes, they will tell you can float it, but you can't float without knowing or manage your supply. You can't float what you don't have. I believe that the rate of exchange was overvalued. For me, the first step would have been to do the things I would say here that I would have done to be able to get some funding that would have allowed you first devalue the currency. Because overvalued where you have a situation where you have 450 official rate and almost 750 as high market rate, which was allowing all sorts of things. If we had moved from 450 to about 600 or thereabouts, and be able to still manage it by getting enough money to meet up existing obligations. Corporations and people will lose money, but not meeting those existing obligations will increase confidence for people to come back into the market. And then, remember, one of the things that when the exchange rate is unproductive money, it's all over the place, which are called the corruption rate. Because some of this exchange rate is going up and everything. The dollars are not being purchased by those who are using it for productive purposes. It is being purchased and used for corruption purposes, which everybody is involved. So you can stop it. Today, you know, for various political activities and people in government are now transacting in dollars. It is an open secret. So we are in difficulty. Some of this we have to start doing it differently. I'm not going to say, that's what I said, I will not be well in the process of yesterday. I'll be doing the process of today. When I was in government as a state, we decided to have what we call subnational savings. And that was why in Anambra State, we were able to have, by the time I left, $150 million in savings. We said we're going to divide our savings into three. One should be in foreign currency. Since we trade in dollar, let's save in dollars. One should be in naira. The other will be in investment, shares and stocks and bonds, local bonds. And that's what we did. So we have $150 million in savings. If read in this book, I refer to it every day, where it said about the savings, because I know what the reserve would have been. If you ask Mr. Ganga, who was there, who actually was the architect of the sovereign wealth fund, he would tell you that the governor who gave him all the support, I was there. So, for me, the things we would have done differently, because we didn't do it in the past, we're suffering now, but we can start today to do it. If we had done the right things of manage the rate more effectively, and support all exportable items in order to earn revenue. Oil, steel, which the government have said they're stopping and everything. I said that I was a little bit disappointed that we caught a ship that had 8,000 all we needed to do 800,000. And they said and that ship was supposed to be operating 800,000, and that ship was supposed to operate operating for 12 years. For 12 years. Nobody cared to say if that ship had been operating for 12 years. For 12 years. For 12 years. What has it been doing for 12 years? Where has it been for 12 years? It's very important. What we did is to say, destroy it. We don't need to destroy it. I would have seized it and shown that they explain what they've been doing with it. Nobody have told us what they've been doing for 12 years. They just said it's been around there and doing civil operations for 12 years. These are issues. So if we get it right, I believe we can earn more dollars. I believe we'll stabilize the currency and everything, and that makes more meaning.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. All right, I think we'll take.
Okay.
Yes, it's okay. Before you go on, I just wanted to take a quick quote from what our principal just said right now. He said, basically, you can float the naira. Basically, you can't float the naira when you have not made sufficient moves to take the country from consumption to production. I think that for me, a quote I'm going to put it out right there on Twitter for Nigerians to understand we are speaking economically. All right, I think you can come right now with the quick interview questions, please. Go on.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is N6. I have more than a decade's experience in radio and media. And I want to ask you a question about a huge, intangible, but it's going to be a big problem that happened after this election. I don't know if you might understand this question. Please give me time. This election has destroyed whatever fabric of national unity we have. The politicians weaponized tribalism, they weaponized ethno-religious sentiments, and they really split Nigerians apart. The Yoruba and the Igbo, the North versus the South, and they've done this, they did it at national level, they did it at state level. When we talk about Nigeria, we always focus on education, health, this, that, this. Places that have verifiable data to tackle. But how do you datify the unity of the country? So please, sir, I want to ask you, do you have a plan when you get into power? Because you surely will. There's no technicality that is going to stop that. When you get into power, sir, is there a plan to sew Nigerians back together again? Or do you think in your grand scheme of tackling poverty and also alleviate Nigerian, hopefully the Nigerian GDP and all these things, that the tribalism issue will die off with our prosperity? I always thought it would, but it's sad to see things happen again. You saw our opponents going as far as Yoruba, Ronu, and things like that. So my question is, unity, highly fragmented at this point. What do you have in mind to get Nigeria back together as a country, loving each other, for us to be able to achieve all these things you have? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Let me be honest with you. I've been asked this question several times. And what I'll tell them is exactly what I'm going to tell you now. Is actually, at times, it's good that all these things are coming out. When, in 2015, I campaigned across Nigeria, then with Jonathan, I saw this happen. We are Northerners, we are like, we don't want to hear anything. We don't want to see you. We're not. So, with so many attractive proposals, campaign promises by Buhari then, and he was voted into office. 8 years now, I did not see many maybe there is, I'm saying, any reduction in the poverty in the north. I did not see where the north was being bread cheaper than the south. I did not see where food, like Ibrahim said now, was cheaper in the north than the south. There was no improvement. They were not more secured. There was nothing. They would say they celebrated for that, taking that ethnic stand. Today, we're seeing a similar situation in the Southwest, where people think it is our turn, we don't care, it's not this, and everything, because the politicians use this as a tool for competition, especially when they're incompetent. So they hire tools of division, tools of ethnicity. And I've asked people, can they show me where they buy bread cheaper in Ibadan? It's cost of rice or food chain in Ibadan. It's cost of petroleum chain in Ibadan. Is there anywhere people are buying fuel today 300 naira and people in the east are paying 600? Is there anywhere they're buying bread 500 while people in the north are paying 1,000? Same thing is what happens with religion. When people will say to you, oh, he's playing a religious card, doing this. Show me where the Muslims buy bread cheaper. I can tell you, Christians will go there and worship with them and buy the bread and come out and continue what they're doing. Show me where Christians are buying bread cheaper. Muslims will come there and buy the bread and go back. I went to a secondary school, Christ the King College, in Onitsha. And I wasn't just a student, anybody would say, you don't know in Christ the King College. I even became the deputy discipline prefect. So everybody that went to that school would test P2B. We had students that were Muslims. We had the students with other different Christian denominations. On Fridays, our Muslim students will go in Onitsha. They will go to mosque in Onitsha then. That's how I knew the mosque and where it was in Onitsha. They go to mosque on Fridays. On Sundays, we will go to church. Who are Catholics will go to Catholic. Those who are Anglicans will go to a neighboring school DNDS for their own. Everybody. We didn't know what restriction. I went to University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Again, nobody who passed through Nsukka will tell you while I was there, he does not know P2B. Then you're not in the part of that school. What I mean, not that everybody knows me. There might be people who don't know me, who don't even remember me, but if there's popular students in the school, I want them. So we had a lot of Muslims. We had people from different denominations. A lot of Muslims, nobody thought about where you're coming from. We had people. My brother went to school in University of Maiduguri. We used to go to Enugu to into air train to go back to Maiduguri. Since we are not in 60s, This were late 70s, early 80s. So it's not even 60s. So all these things and so it together is what thing this an argument of okay, in order to balance it, we need one person from southwest, from southeast, from this, from that, which are already enshrined in our constitution. Our constitution already had federal character. We have to bring people from different areas, but we have to bring people who are competent. It's been shown in our football system. Just yesterday, all those who played for us in the 80s was remembered by APs. All those of them, Odebami, Christian Chuku, everybody, he brought all of them to Lagos, hosted them, gave each of them about 1.5 million naira each, told each of them they're going to be flying his plane for free. He wants them to be looked after and everything. He didn't say, I want people who play for Rangers. He wanted people who did this nation. When they met me in hotel, you'll be shocked. All these people that would hear their name. That's what it used to be. You can bring it back with effortless ease. Today, there's a lot of intermarriage between the north, the east, the southwest, the southeast. It's only the stage in Lagos, nobody even knows the difference. Most of the marriages that I attended, I was in a funeral just on Thursday of somebody I can call a mother. Fantastic woman. But she's a Yoruba woman. We live in the same block flat where this woman is. I don't know how to describe her. She's just an necessary mother who every day will make sure that he comes in and say, Peter, you're not doing this. Peter, you did this or this. Everybody in the compound is fond of her. So things you can deal with easily. I said when I was campaigning, Ibrahim can say that the North will celebrate me because I know the problem of the North. The West will do the same thing because I know the problem of the because today nobody can tell me the problem of the North because I know the problem of the North. As a banker, we used to get all the cash we need from Kano. Today, Kano is dead. The industries in Pai 1 is dead. Shadan 1 is dead. Shadan 2 is dead. We used to have cash from Medugri. It's all dead. I know the problems in the East. I know the problems in the West. And that's what we need to deal with. I took time to explain to you in terms of what it used to be. And the nation that's celebrating their hoodie leagues, all here Nigerians talk about is about Manchester, Man U, Chelsea, this the local league. Yes, people used to do that before to play even what do you call it again? To all this lottery, what do you call it again? Pool. They do pull with it, but they are still following Rangers, other clubs, other clubs like ICC, Mighty Jets, all those followed everywhere. So that things go back. People who were playing in different places were not people from there. Their clubs were playing for Mighty North, but their clubs are from Anambra. People were playing for Rangers, and they're from the north. You know, you had a man selected who have a Port Harcourt playing for. So, this is where we must go back to. In terms of our entertainment, you can see it everywhere. Nigerian youth don't know the difference between Davido and other stars in film, in everything. These are what we should encourage. And then throughout this teachers bringing to divide us or telling you, oh, Peter is tribalistic. Where? I've gone to the states. I've run corporations. I supported this and I've been. I can tell you it's a company that is 100% owned by people. But I shared. I didn't even one share in it. One plus one. And I was the chairman. And the company was doing well. So we can go back to it. We can sew it together very easily. There's competent people all over Nigeria. Just like all of you are scattered here, there's competent people all over Nigeria that we can work with and be able to show that it is a united country.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think how you went in on that. Thank you. All right, let's bring in David. David has been falling off. I think David, your enemy is not wanting to speak to the boss. I am sure as David conquered Goliath, you have conquered them. So please, David, I want you to copy right now and show them that you are also a conqueror. Please, you have this. Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, Saddam. So I'm just going to keep my question very brief. And first of all, I'm going to give you some background as to why I'm asking this question now. It's been well known that the fuel subsidy regime was unsustainable. It had to go. Preferably should have gone as far back as 2012, wasted an extra 10 years, etc., etc. Regardless of what happened on February 25, the fact is the fuel subsidy was never going to remain in place because the outgoing administration had already not made any budget provision for it. Now, that has been used as an argument to state that, well, even if the results that were announced had gone differently, and even if Peter Obi had been announced as president and he had, he was sworn into office on May 20, that the economic carnage that we are witnessing would have been the same. Like, it wouldn't have made any difference who was president. Now, I beg to disagree. I believe that the way it was handled, the way the announcement was made in itself, and the way the initial first 2 or 3 weeks of this subsidy removal were handled directly led to this huge slowdown in economic activity that we are witnessing this extreme spiking of fuel prices. Now, so the question is, if Peter was the one who was midwifing that transition from subsidy to no subsidy regime, what would Peter Obi have done different in such a way that the extremely negative effects that it has had on businesses, on people's ability to travel to work, all sorts of things like that? What difference would Peter Obi's handling of the situation have made?
Yes, I'll tell you. Of call it about 90 days. I'm sorry to say it. They have a respectable economic team that would have sat down with me, even at there's respected that can sit down and will say, we're going to remove tweets. Wherever like we have multiple fractions. With all of it, remove it one after the other. I've said the short side of it. So the actual subsidy we're paying, there's so many components in this subsidy. Listen. You remove that. And decide on the component of subsidy. What that's budgeted on, if it's you remove it, what would remain 40 you're paying or 50%. You cannot fund it with components. We've seen somebody say that shows we want to see what is happening with the issue of the refinery. It's not what other refineries have set up. Of simultaneous you need to do quite a number of things that would have helped to manage this better and everything. There's a combination of things you would have discussed with people in all the stakeholders that would have made it better. It would still be painful. It's just like what I said before, that there's a difference between giving you some form of anesthesia before pulling out your tooth and just doing it without anything. Then what you're thinking through is an economic decision. It's not going to be easy. If it's a return school to the original owners in Anambra State, there were issues with it. were on strike. Schools were on strike for months. Before we returned it, we made sure that we went through all the beginning to the end to mitigate the problems. For example, saying that all teachers that are employed must be paid by government. They must be maintained by government. But the churches that can no longer run the school, they don't have the resources. There's so many things we put in place that we will do to do the capital projects. We'll continue to do this. But they will take care of the administration and management, but we'll support them. I can tell you, I don't know what has changed. At the time I was governor, no state in the north, no state in the east, no state in the west can compare their secondary schools or primary schools with ours. We were the only people who have secondary schools that have computers, buses, this, everything. Go to those schools today. The infrastructures were rebuilt. We don't own them. Private schools in Anambra State were supplied computers. Private schools in this. So we thought it through. As a governor, I decided that every person, old person in Anambra State, from the about 200 communities, who is above 75 years and have no means or does not have any form of pension, the government will pay the person 5,000. You can go and verify what I'm telling you now. Across the whole state, 5,000 every. I have security in each community, employed and paid directly by government in each community. I bought each community vehicle. So I knew it was going to be sustainable. People ask me, when are you going to get money to do this? I said, look at that calculation. Look at what we are getting. Look at why we're going to do it. What I'm saying is that there are things you do, but you have to be thought through. Stakeholders have to be invited. Other people have to have their input. It's not just something, it's not something of courage. Because people say, oh, if you have the courage, there's nothing, you have the courage. If you're determined to do it, you're determined to do it. I say it any day. If that pull people out of poverty in the north, I'll change the country. It's not question of courage. You need to give people the numbers. If you say you're going to save cost of governance, people need to see the numbers. You cannot tell people to sacrifice. You cannot tell people to go through pain when they are seeing you live a life of a rock star, when you're buying brand new chips from all over the world at a very expensive price, and you're saying, this is this. No. You cannot say you want, like we said, we want food security, and this is this. Yes, we want food security. But what are we doing? People must hear it, people must see it. And like I keep saying, it is time we hear from those in charge. I don't know whether this has made a little bit of sense to your question, David.
Yeah, absolutely, it has.
You made amazing sense, sir. Thank you very much, sir. All right, I think in the spirit of education, I think I'll echo the mic right now to Madam Bolale. Madam Bolale, you have the space. Good evening.
Good evening, Sir Dan. How are you? Your Excellency, thank you. Your answers to our questions have been quite illuminating. Thank you. Right. So before I ask my question, I just want to sort of give some context. Right. Back in 2010, when I was the youngest daughter here in the UK, the consultant, the surgeon, the SHO and a midwife on duty who were content to the world were all Nigerians. So I had Nigeria's finest at her birth, and I often laughed about it. However, we know that there's a brain drain, so that we've got an average 200 doctors leaving the UK, leaving for the UK a month, and that has meant that the ratio of doctors to patients is now 2 to 10,000, which is really, really bad, right? So a few days ago, resident doctors in Nigeria embarked on a indefinite strike, right? Which has meant that the public hospitals and the conditions are not great anyway. And these are the people who have decided to stay, right? And it calls the question, how access affordable healthcare. So my question is this: considering the difficulties in that sector, is it time to call a state of emergency on healthcare delivery in Nigeria? And if yes, what would the solution look like? Thank you, sir.
Well, let me start telling you that the state of emergency, my sister, have been long overdue. It's been long overdue. Today, Nigeria has surpassed India in infant mortality. India is 7 times the population of Nigeria. India is now the country with the largest population in the world, about 1.4 billion, and we're about 200. So there are 7 times our population, but we have worse infant mortality than them, especially in the northern Nigeria. And this is because of lack of primary health care. Primary health care, lack of education, lack of access to health, which is applicable on primary care. And you can't talk about primary health care unless you talk about the human infrastructure, the healthcare workers that are involved, because they are nurses, midwives, everything. When I was campaigning, I went to an IDP camp where they had about, according to them, I didn't know, they were about 50 to 100,000. I'm not privileged to know how many they are. But when I came, the crowd I saw should be about 3,000. They have no form of facility, medical facility, except a nurse, one nurse, who actually was there on a volunteer basis. She said she's tired of hearing or seeing people die, or women trying to get men. So she decided, let me die with these people. It was very painful to see and everything. Because we're not investing in healthcare. When we talk about this saving, we're talking, go and look at primary care budgets of Nigeria, a country of 200 million people. And then you look at the budget of, say, I don't want to start mention, maybe National Assembly. Look at the budget of primary care. Look at the budget of maybe, compare budget of even Asura Clinic. All those things. Or other government agencies. So it's a question of priorities. And our doctors are living, our nurses are living, glorious, but I'm not as worried as people. I lived in the UK myself, where at the time, all the doctors, all the were from India. I used to tell people that I know India will take over in terms of ICT, in terms of technology, in terms of